Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Marketing 101. I got a really special guest this week, Dr. Ronda Vaughn. She's up in Michigan. We love our Michigan folks. And she's going to tell us a little bit about curating a community. And I've been following her for a while. We're friends. We've been doing this for years. But what she's been able to teach people has been super important. And a lot of things that I've been teaching about, I thought this was just going to be a great fit to bring Rhonda in. She does it all the time. I'll leave it mostly to her and just kind of narrate the organization today. But yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. So, as we have been taught, you and I have heard all the time about this, always have something to invite them to. So, in June of 21, I did my first Ask Chiptoe. Always have something to invite them to.
Mhm.
And honestly, I think as it's grown, I'm learning a little bit more about the why to do it. And it's for myself, I've created a women's community. It's my target market. I joke Ashley's my target market. She's my ideal client. She drives the white Tahoe, has 2 kids, stay-at-home mom. And what does Ashley want to do on Thursday night? She wants to drink prosecco with other Ashleys. So every third Thursday of the month, I have created an event for my target market to get together and have a party. I always joke it's kind of like book club without the books and the homework. So every third Thursday, and we get together and in talking to my gang of 5 about it, it's different than going to another networking event because this is business to consumer. It's not another business to business event. My chamber is a great chamber, but I don't want to go to one more business to business to networking group. So this is creating an event and filling a room. My event started with 30 people a month. We're up to about 75 to 150 women every month. What I've done since then is we decided to do it a city over. So we duplicated it once. And so we now have Social Oak North. And now I'm teaching other. First, I started with women business owners, and now I have 19 social oaks around the country. We have 2 in Colorado, California, Florida, and most recently, for the guys on here, we've started Social Oak Gents. So we're starting with Tampa and one in Michigan in my community and having an event where they can get together. As a chiropractor, I think we were talking about this. It's just a way for people to get to know me as Dr. Rhonda, right? So, excuse me, people get nervous and sometimes they get nervous finding a chiropractor, finding a dentist, finding a physical therapist, and they get to know me as a person and not just the chiropractor down the road. So it kind of
Yeah.
opens up a conversation, a relationship.
Right. And Rhonda just pretty much summed up like 12 podcasts all in like 2 minutes. So for those of you that are lost with always have something to invite people to gang of 5, to all this stuff, she pretty much just summed
Mhm.
it all up. And I think this is going to be great because we're going to unwind this now in the next 10 minutes. And then people will be like, oh, okay. What is she talking about? Yeah. She's rolling so far with this stuff that she's been so successful in her hometown that she's helping other chiropractors around the country do this. So this is why I brought her in to kind of slow it down, but I forgot how fast she talked. So to go back, I mean, to always have
Mhm.
something to invite people to, like not everyone here has the Black Diamond Club principles. They're just Enrico Dolce
Mhm.
marketing. They're part of the group. We learn this stuff in Black Diamond Club. So always have something to invite people to literally means that every month, every week, every day, I don't care how often you do it, you should always have something to invite people to. She gave you a couple examples there. They can fit your demographic, but obviously Rhonda knows her demographic. The mom that drives a Tahoe
Mhm.
with kids that loves Prosecco. I mean, it doesn't get more
Mhm.
specific than that. For some of you, you're like, I'm in Mormon country. We don't drink. Okay, whatever. But you're going to find your demographic that works for you and your ideal client. Then the gang of 5 is the 5 people that work closest to you. And they don't have to be the people you directly refer to. They're the people that service the same mom with the Tahoe, with the kids that likes Prosecco.
Mhm.
So that's the whole point there. So I hope that makes it a little bit easier for you. But so
Yeah.
when we look at the importance of this, just reverse engineer this for everybody kind of listening on how you help them grow these communities and why they're so important.
So again, like I said, I'm gonna slow down because I do talk fast. I do everything
No,
fast.
good. It's great.
So, what when I help other business owners, what we do is one, we really have to find out who your ideal client is, So like you said, if you're in a Mormon state, obviously having Prosecco isn't the thing. But right now, pickleball is all the rage, right? So is your ideal client an athlete and you have pickleball tournaments once a month and invite them to your community. So it's really figuring out what your person is doing and what they want to do more of, and then bringing them all together as a community.
Perfect. That's it. And that's what it really is.
Mhm.
And as chiropractors, whether you're just starting out, if you're just starting out, this stuff is exciting because you're like, oh man, I didn't even think about this. I've been worried about getting a network with insurances. But for the rest of us that have been working for a while, this stuff is what is game changers to your practice because now you're diving deeper into your community rather than the networking group that you've been a part of, that you've been a part of for 10 years. Now it's about how do I build the relationships that I've built on and invite them into some more tighter group. And that's what a gang of five is. Some of you have like a network of like 500. You just know 500 people. But who are those top, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9 people that you always end up crossing paths with? It could be the hair salon, it could be whatever it is. You invite them into a group, a tight knit group, and you build your own curated group where you're the leader of. And that's what Rhonda does. She teaches you how to be the leader,
Mhm.
how to bring people into this group and not reinvent the wheel. So you don't have to join a BNI or any of these groups. You just call Rhonda, you join up her curated,
Mhm.
or whether it's a social oak or a C3, she does a bunch of stuff depending on what's best for
Yep.
where you're at, and then she teaches you how to do it, and then you become the leader. So I take care of a couple of your clients that actually work with you, and they're like, I
Mhm.
don't know what to offer people, and they get a little bit gun shy or camera shy about, well, when I curate this group, like why they want to be with me? It's because you have a plethora of information. You run a business, whether it's for 1 year or 21 years. You've been running a business and you have so much knowledge and you've been in the community. Trust me, they do want to know who you are.
Right, people wanna know who we are. They wanna
Right.
see us outside of our office too, right? People are
Mhm.
curious. They wanna know who they're doing business with. So this is an hour or 2 a month where they get to know you. I still keep it professional, it's very professional, but they get to know you as a person, and people wanna do business with people they know. So it's
Perfect. So they
easier to get
call
in a
you and they
room.
get, yeah, they call you, they get
Yeah.
started. And then what do you do? So what's like the onboarding of working with you?
Just start a social oak. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
the onboarding is really we have to deep dive into who your ideal client is. So if
Mhm.
your ideal client is, 65-year-old trucker, I'm probably not your girl. I don't know what 65-year-old truckers want to do. But if you have an Ashley or an athlete and we start to curate events and we plan pretty much your year and your dates, and we figure out your dates, your year, your time, and what you're going to do, and then how you can reach out to the community, get the community involved, and we just really set up your whole program. If you choose to do the social loc name, we are gaining traction. Like I said, we have 19 female groups across the United States. So our name is actually getting somewhere. So that's also fun too. I have social oak gents. He actually sat down to start his gang of five, and the guy that he went to sit with, he said, "So I don't know if you've heard of social oak." And the guy looked at me and goes, "I'm in. I know exactly who it is." So our
Cool.
name is gaining traction. So that's also good, I think, for people who want to do more of it. Um, as far as the time commitment, it is planning an event every month. So there is a little bit of time commitment on the business owner's part and a little expense in the beginning as well. But as you grow your gang of five, it's a shared expense with everybody in your gang.
Right. Those tight groups that you work with end up helping you substantially. We're actually setting up one of our Chiptoes right now. It's happening right now as we talk in our office. Fall photos. So this changes every month. So like our always have something to invite people to is like a mother meetup every month, and our associate runs it. She took it and she runs with it. She loves the pediatric portion of it. It's great. Mother, Tahoe, kids, Prosecco, and
Yeah.
she's Mormon. So it's cool,
Oh,
and she still does it. So that's where this all comes from. It's hilarious, but the ideal client in our area is not. We're not in Utah. We're in Florida. So the whole difference is different. So that's what's going on here, and it's fall. So it changes every month. So people get like, well, can I really do the same thing every month? The answer is yes. Can I switch it up every month? The answer is yes. It depends how
mhm.
it all evolves and how it goes. So I'm a huge fan of it, and I learned it from Rhonda. So if you're wondering where I get this info from, right here you go. I'm giving credit to where credit is due, and that's how we do it. So that's my example. But what you're doing with the social oak and the C3 is a different organized type system.
Yeah.
You're given a system procedures manual and from Rhonda, and you're taught how to run it. For those of you that are like, I don't know what to do, this is great. So reach out to her. I'll have all the contact information in the podcast after. But yeah,
Yeah. I love that. One of the things that you said, that was one of my favorite things. I have people that call me all the time. They're like, but I don't drink. And I said, does your
right.
ideal client? So I love that you said that,
It's not
if
about
you have
you.
to
It's really
cater
not
to
about
them.
you. And 100%.
Exactly.
These events, if it was about you, no one would come because you're a geek.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
let's be
Nobody
honest.
would
Like
want to hang out
chiros
with
are
me for
like,
2 hours.
there's very few cool chiros. Rhonda's one of them, and there's like 3 others that I know. The rest of us are geeks. No one wants to come to our stuff and play Catan. The whole point of it is they want to come in and do something fun, and you just got to learn it. And so we do a whiteboard in our front office, and it circulates every quarter. And we just put like, what's your favorite restaurant? And people will just for fun write on it. And it's usually some chains, but then you learn some cool places, and you're like, and then you get like 2 or 3 people that say the same place, and you're like, there must be something up with that restaurant. Or whatever the fun thing is, what's your favorite thing to do with your family and kids in the area? Bush Gardens comes up, whatever comes up. And then these are the things that you start targeting to your demographic. You're like, okay, maybe we should
Mhm.
get Bush Gardens tickets and give them away, or maybe we should do this and give them away. And then you're starting to really pique the interest of your ideal clients and what they do. So that's great too. But what you're doing,
Also,
yeah,
what you were saying with that, I think it's a great way to kind of find your gang of five.
it's a great
So
way.
when I started to look into my gang of five, I started to ask my ideal clients, I would hear the kids say, hey, can we go get a juice or an acai bowl from Beyond Juice when we're done? I immediately, if my favorite patients are going there, their clients probably should be coming to me. So that was another way to really start to think about who you really want to align yourself with in your gang of five is that whiteboard, because we do the same. We do the same thing. It's genius.
It's genius. Or send out a survey on email or something.
Mhm.
It's amazing, Rhonda, working with so many chiropractors and coaching with them is just, and Rhonda's a coach too. If you want to like dive deeper, you call Rhonda and she coaches you through this too. So, I mean, she's great with that as well. But you learn about it and like, hey, how about you send out to your email list? And they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, you don't send out emails? They're like, nope. How long have you been in practice? 14 years. I'm like, how big is your email list?
Oh,
5,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to double your practice like in 2 months. And
gold mine.
and we do it. And they do, and they don't even dive into this stuff. So some of you are sitting on this like diamond mind that you don't even know that you've built, and you've got like a patient base of like 4,000, 7,000, 10,000 patient files that you could curate this and rekindle a lot of this through your groups, through your outside groups. They don't have to be
Yeah.
coming in for a reassessment. They could be, hey, come down to the book club, come down to the donuts and dads, come down to the car show, whatever it is that you guys love to do in your office. Lots of ideas. Rhonda has tons of them. But how, for your advice for people like that don't do anything, like what, I don't feel like I'm a good motivator because I tell them what to do and they're like, I haven't done it yet. How do you motivate people to be like, listen, this is really important. You should probably start cultivating this. What's your best advice for them?
To start doing it? Well, I think you and I are both kind of alike. We just do that. We do it. I think you're a better
Mhm.
motivator than you think. But I think to start doing it is if you want the business, it's an easy, um, it's easy and
It's easy.
it's
It's
building
easy.
relationships, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just building relationships. It's
100%.
getting to know your patients, getting to know your community, putting yourself out there. That's the uncomfortable part, right?
It is.
Putting yourself out there. And what if nobody comes? And I talk to a lot of my clients, they say, I only have 10 people that signed up. Well, 10 people turns into 20 the next month, and 20 turns into 40.
Great. It's a win.
So yeah,
10
10 people
people
is
is
a
a
win.
win. It's a win.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
do our annual ladies night. It's right before the holiday season, so we're gearing up on this. And our two CAs were like, "We love this," and they're taking it right off my plate. They're like, "We got this." I'm like, "No, no, no. Listen, I got some stuff for you. We got red velvet rope. We got like tiered tickets and like middle tickets and like free general." And they're like, "We got this." And they picked a VIP experience, a mid tier experience. I'm like, what is happening? I obviously am doing good, like
You've trained your staff well.
vibrating a little bit. So, and so it doesn't have to be work for you. Some of you are so worried because you're so
True.
busy with your families and kids and practice and associates. You're like, I have no time to take on more. Listen to me. This stuff is super easy. You can delegate it to the staff inside of here. And then with a little bit of guidance from Rhonda, it can take off. It really is. Just stay consistent.
I've I've actually worked with the staff of chiropractors who don't want to actually do the event. They just want to show up the day of.
See?
So we've done that too. I get it. I mean, I have a practice, I have kids. So doing all of this, I understand you don't want one more thing on your plate, but putting yourself out there and becoming a part of the community, honestly, not just gets you new patients and returning patients, but it gets you in front of people and you get asked to speak in your community and you get known. You walk in the door and you're like, "Oh, you're the social oak girl." So, it's kind of interesting.
It does. Relationships just build on top of one another, and you don't know the value of it until it keeps slapping you in the face. And I just came from like a golf thing that all these networkers that go around to the traditional networkers invited me. I'm not even part of their group. And we're out there, and then you rekindle all this stuff. Some of my ex associates were there, and you get to catch up with them, and you just kind of learn. And then they're still looking up to you, and then they end up telling you stuff like, "Hey, I referred Larry, I referred Sheila, I refer." I'm like, "Oh, that's where they came from." And this stuff's all happening in the background. I didn't even know. And that's how you build it. And you wonder where your referrals come from. You wonder where this stuff comes from. This is the organic way to build any business, not just chiropractic. It's the way to build it. It's just, I think it's easier as a service provider because it's a one-on-one, it's an emotional connection with people rather than like giving them a service like
Mhm.
a consulting thing or a lawyer who just does your paperwork and sends it to you in the e-doc. It's different in what we do. So really important to kindle that. So reach out to them. I'll have all the info about Rhonda. How do they get in contact with you? What's the best way so we don't bombard you with the
So
hard way?
we can put my website on. I think, did I give you my website? Thecommunitycultivator.com
We will.
is my website. And then
Okay.
my Instagram is also the community cultivator, or even just my regular Dr. Ronda Vaughn is my regular Instagram is another good way.
Great. We'll put you on the
Yeah.
group and on the pad, and then you guys can just click the links and talk to Rhonda directly. If you need more guidance with that, we do it in our office to ask questions, and we'll guide you to the right people.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest thing that you've noticed in the last couple of years, post COVID, post 2020, that has worked with this, working with people in a community setting?
So I think COVID helped. It actually made people want people want to be around people. People want to be
Mhm.
invited, they want community. I think that when we were locked down for well, you're in Florida, so and I don't know where most of your followers are at, but I'm in Michigan and people wanted out. That is a big reason I started this is my moms were going batty, staying home and homeschooling their kids and working or not working. And I think COVID really helped us remember how much people need people and we need community and we like to be around each other. And I didn't think men did. That's why I started this for women. But come to find out they do. So that's why Social Oak Jets is starting. We're starting a men's group.
That's great. I'm going to learn more about that too, and how you're distinguishing the two. Probably just changing up the events a little bit and the timing of it for men
Yes.
versus women. But I think it's the same principles, right?
100%. It's just
Yeah.
getting men together. I did not realize, I always joke for women, it's book club without the homework. So you don't have to read a book. You just get to come hang out. And then I realized why wouldn't men want a reason to go hang out? And sometimes it's as a business owner, even if you're not leading it, there is organic networking. So it's a reason to go network and you're not going out. You can tell the wife you're just going out to network. But and same thing for the women. We can just go out and hang out. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
it's
get it out.
so smart. It's so smart. You're a parent, you know this. I'm a parent. Like to have something with a purpose to go to, even though it's an event, it's networking. It doesn't mean it's not friendships. It's more of networking, which is two different levels. Let's be honest. There's networking, there's friendships, and then there's family as far as like
Right,
value and time. But these little things, even though we're like, I'm going to go networking, and we look at it as like a slew to get out the door, it really isn't because there's a purpose to it,
right.
rather than going out to do something not worth it.
So the one thing I always remind people, if you do an event like this, it isn't just networking, right? Because there's that business side when you go as a business owner that you organically wanna meet people and do business with people that you've met and know and trust now. But these events aren't just for business owners. They are for the stay-at-home mom, the stay-at-home dad, or an executive who doesn't need to promote. Like if I'm in Detroit, so GM execs don't need to go out and promote necessarily
Mhm.
on the small town community aspect, but it's just a reason to get out and have and build friendships. So there's this community side and there's a business side to it. So it's kind of different than anything I've seen. I kept trying to think, what's something else like this other than Enrico, who knows about it and is doing it and already killing it in his community. Like where else do we see people do this?
Yeah, it's such a great thing, and so we got Rhonda in the back corner. That's what I tell all my clients. I'm like, listen, it's not just me when you work with me. I got a whole team behind me. If I don't know the question, I'm like, I'll get right back to you. We hang up, and then I'm like texting Rhonda. I'm like, Rhonda, what do you what do you do for that?
Yeah,
She gives me the answer. I look like a rock star with my client. So this is where this or Sean, whatever it is. So that's the whole point of it, cultivating this stuff. You're right. Networking is not just, trying to just about new business, like the executive for GM, but it is branding and people don't understand this.
mhm,
And we don't need to get into the details of branding versus marketing, but this is the branding. You become the face of it. So that down the road, that executive that had that talk, the people decide to buy a GM car. They don't know why
right,
or how that happened, but it was because they got to meet someone up the ladder at GM. And then when it's time to buy a new SUV, they don't go with Infinity, they go with GM. It's just the way it works. It's just if you don't believe that, you obviously don't know what you're talking about because that's what planting seeds is all about.
exactly.
Thanks,
It's
Rhonda.
fun. Yep.
Yeah, I'll connect all your handles. Just put them onto the link here, and I'll put them all onto the podcast, and then everyone will see you in
Sounds
the
good.
Facebook group, and we'll just blast it there. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Yeah, of course.